What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Upper Adaptive Podcast. I'm your host, Becky Flowers, along with my co-host here, Sarah Budson.
What's up, guys? You're like so soft-spoken.
Oh, sorry.
It's past Becky's bedtime, guys.
It is so past my bedtime. I texted her at like 6 p.m. It's like 9, almost 9 here. And you're an hour ahead of me, but still. Um, I
This
texted
is
you.
where I thrive.
So this is going to be the Sarah podcast, and I'm just going to throw in little tidbits because I'm falling asleep.
Becky's
It's
gonna
so
be like
dark.
snoozing and be like, "Hey, Becky, wake up! Can you put some in
Right.
here?
Can you end the video, please?
Please end it so it saves."
That'll be my job.
No, but today we kind of wanted to touch on. It's not a fun. It's not a fun episode topic, but it's definitely relevant, I think, in both of our lives right now. And it's like really heightened right now in mine. But so one of my favorite music artists, like he just released a new album and he's an independent artist. And so his kind of thing is he's releasing 3 albums. His first album was The Highs. This one is the lows, and then his third one in like the trilogy will be the in-betweens. And something that he's very expressive about, super like intuitive, like he has a podcast, like he's a really dope
I didn't
person
know that.
too. Yeah. He's like really, really cool and like just being like very introspective and like has a lot of wisdom and just like life lessons and things like that. But his kind of like mantra is like through the highs, lows, the in-betweens, like being grateful for them all. And something that he was very like adamant about expressing with like the lows coming out. He's like, it's not just like a collection of sad songs, but rather the low points of my life, like pulling inspiration out of those and like creating out of those. And so I just think it's a really cool like spin on it where it's not like, sulking in the low spots, but they are necessary. And we do need to be grateful for those low points just as much as the highs and the in-betweens, because they're all purposeful and they all lead us to, where we're going. And I just think that's something really cool. And like his like mantra is like keep going, like no matter what, like highs, lows, in betweens, keep going, be grateful for them all. And there's just like so much to unpack with that in so many different ways. It holds relevance in so many different subjects.
Yeah.
It's something that both of us are kind of going through right now too. And it was kind of just heavy on my heart, and it was something that I wanted to just chat about. So
Yeah, I love it. And I love just his perspective of seeing gratitude in the highs, lows, and the in-betweens, in the mundane
mhm.
everything, but really focusing today on like finding gratitude in those lows. Um, and one thing that we had talked about before we jumped on here was finding gratitude in the lows and it really telling you where you don't have to put your energy into anymore. And like finding gratitude in that like, okay, now I can move forward and focus on this or go for this, whatever it might be.
Yeah. And I think that's so important and such a great point to kind of elaborate on, because something relevant kind of to both of us right now is, dealing with maybe friendships that maybe no longer serve you and things like that, right?
Mhm.
And something that you had brought up to me today in one of my very lengthy voice memos to you, where I was just rambling because we haven't caught up in a while.
I know. So in your podcast.
But like when certain people switch up on you or treat you a certain way, or maybe are more self-motivated in their conversations with you, but something that you had said to me, you're just like, have you forgiven them? Like there's so much power in that, in forgiving people no matter what. Like forgiving people isn't for them, it's for you, like to
Yeah.
settle that internal turmoil, right? And to kind of move past it in that way for yourself, really, more than them. And I think that that's something that it's something that I'm definitely working on too, is not holding any sort of like grudges or resentment towards people, forgive them, like let that be, so that just like you said, you can shift that energy and put it towards something else productive, and
Hmm.
finding the gratitude in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's huge. And it's something that I'm working through too. And I don't think it's easy. It's
It's
not.
so difficult. It is so difficult, especially, I mean, just like you said, you're like, karma is very real, and we have both seen prime examples of this play out in both of our lives, over the last year, 2 years. And it's very true, and what is for you will not pass you, right? Like, you don't have to put those time and that negative time and energy into things that they're no longer serving you or anything like that. And be grateful for that, because now you have this freed up energy that you can focus towards taking a step forward in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it reminds me, I don't know if you've heard this, I'm sure you have, where it's that analogy of when you aren't forgiving somebody, it's like wanting to poison them, but you're drinking the poison yourself. And that's really what it is. If you can't move past the lows, and right now we're talking about if someone does something to you and that's a low for you. Like if you can't move past that and you can't just find forgiveness, like that's just poisoning you and you're not
Right.
going to be able to move into a new energy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, those lows can look any which way,
Mhm.
however you look at it, whether it's losing people, whether it's just going through any sort of hardship, there's always something that you can pull from that, and a lesson, and being grateful for it, because there has to be those lows to be able to recognize the highs too.
So what do you do when you are in a low point and you kind of like almost feel lost in the darkness at that point? What do you do to pull yourself out of that so you can see that gratitude? Or what have you done? Or what are you learning?
What am I learning? That's a way better
Yes.
question.
What are you learning right
I'm
now?
like, well, I isolate myself and I lay on my couch with Toby and don't talk to anyone and don't respond to anyone.
So after that point, because I honestly, okay, but in all seriousness, like I think there is power in giving yourself like 24 to 48 hours. Like literally, I've deleted my Instagram right now for just this whole point. Like I felt like I've been just going, 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 and like giving, 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 giving. And I'm like, I'm done. Like I'll be back, but I need a breather. So giving yourself that time. And then after that, what do you do?
I
Or
get
what are you doing?
I get to a point where I'm finally sick of my shit. And that's where I like call myself out and I'm like, all right, I gotta move past this. And just like the last few days, like have just been really, really heavy. And I was just in a point where I was literally just so sick of myself, like so sick of being in like a negative mindset and just like sulking, that
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I have to do something. So I went and sat by the water, and literally on my way home, I felt like 80 times lighter.
I love that. I do that too. And it's so calming.
Yeah, I literally just sat by the water and prayed. That's it.
I was just going to ask what you did by the water.
Yeah, that was it.
No, that's huge. That is
But
huge.
finding those things that like recenter you is so, so crucial.
Hmm.
And I think, that'll look different for everyone, but finding those things that cleanse your soul, that clear your mind, that you don't have to, maybe you do think, but like maybe you also just can literally sit somewhere and breathe and just like actually absorb where you're at in that very moment, what you're surrounded by. Like another thing is like go see my horse, ride my horse. Like it's things that I'm focused at where I'm at and what I'm doing, rather than letting my thoughts consume me. Cause like sitting on my couch, it's a pit, it's just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit there in my thoughts and they're gonna consume me. Where okay, I know I need to get up. I know I need to go for a drive, go sit by the water, pray, go see my horse, just do these little things that literally cleanse my soul and recenter me so that I can be in a better framed mindset and actually be grateful for those things too.
Yeah.
It's so important to find gratitude in those because like you can't just be grateful for the good things that happen, you know? There's it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, there's
And
lessons in everything.
right, and it's all truly by design. I truly believe
Mm-hmm.
that, you know? It's like okay, well, yeah, these last couple days may have been heavy, but like I know that I can pull something out of that. And I know that, you know, maybe it's going to make me look at certain things a different way and actually find the gratitude in them rather than maybe just sitting in that mundane and being like, well, this is normal, right?
Yeah.
And maybe not finding gratitude in that because it just feels like the norm. Well, maybe you need a low point for a little bit to even be happy with the mundane too, right? Be
That is
grateful for the
such a good
mundane.
point. That is such a good point where we get into this like just m- mundane. I'm trying to think of a different word for it,
Like
but that's
autopilot. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, you get into autopilot and that's just how we survive. And maybe those low points are supposed to be wake up calls for us. I know for sure I've had multiple wake up calls this last 2 years and
Mhm.
it it will rock you, but then you just have to walk away with gratitude for it because it will
Yeah,
change you.
absolutely. Yeah, and I just think that that's so important to point out is, you know, because things were going like so well for me for so like I told you, like, well, it was great while it lasted, right? But it's like, okay, but maybe it's because I wasn't truly fully immersing myself in gratitude for those highs too, you know? Like, hey, shit's got to happen a little bit for I don't know if you can hear Toby, but he's
Mm,
having a fit over here.
the
But
children.
like shit's got to happen for you to actually be like, okay, are you truly appreciating what is at hand? And if not, then I'm gonna make you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I fully believe that. I fully believe that there will be wake up calls when we need those wake up calls. And they're not going to be pretty and it's not going to be fun, but we all go through it.
Hmm.
And what can we pull from it? What can we learn from it? But then also, how can we be grateful for those lessons too?
Hmm. And like prime example of that is like my body started like carrying a bunch of inflammation just from like being stressed out. Mark put me on a training break for 5 days, and I was like, this is
Hmm.
the last fucking thing I need right now. Like I'm already like in the dumps. Like I all I want to do is go train, right? Well, maybe I wasn't appreciating my training sessions as much as I should have, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm like so because the Detroit show's on Sunday and I literally asked Mark permission if I could go train with my friends on Sunday because that was the only thing. And he's like, okay, but 2 days rest after. And I was like, yes, sir.
That's good. So then we're not training again until Wednesday. So just mark it down.
But like how I'm so excited to go train on Sunday now. And like I'm so grateful that I'm able to, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I hope that you're grateful for this rest too, because you don't take rest and you need
It,
to chill the fuck out.
it's something that I'm working on, definitely. Like
Okay.
that is also a very big um it's something I'm really trying to work on is actually being grateful for this rest and not like feeling like a potato
Yeah.
and feeling not productive and especially with like I don't know. It's so hard to do. It's so hard to do when you're so go 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 go, but like that's the reason why I'm in this position to begin with. And this is something I was just talking to Darren earlier about. I was um like I feel so I don't like demasculated with because I feel like I have to like baby my body where like my body can't even like go through a day without like a nap at this point, truly. And I'm like, why? Like, I'm resting and like it's, I know that I need it, but like, why is my body to this point, you know? And it's like, well,
Mhm.
it's because I've ran myself into a brick wall time after time. And I know that it's necessary and whatever, but I'm like, I feel so fragile right now, which is just so like, it's just like, so like, I feel powerless.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, it feels like that. And it's frustrating
It's so frustrating.
because you are used to just go, 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 and you're always the strong one, and you're always the one that just keeps going. And now your body's finally being like, we've had enough. Like
Yeah.
literally, that brick wall is such a good analogy because you have ran into that at least 4 times. So
In like the last like 8 months.
is legit. Yes. So now we're here. But I almost like want to spin this right now for you
Do it. Let's do it.
because like yes, you feel fragile and you do feel more, what is it? Emasculated? Is that what you said?
I don't even know if that's
Such
the
a
right
good
word.
word. I don't know.
I said demasculated. Like I don't
Oh,
even know
okay.
what the word would actually be, but like just yeah, you know
I
what I
don't
mean.
know. I don't know either. I'm just gonna say big words and maybe I'll sound smart. No, but I honestly think like you feeling like that, yes, that's where you're at, but then also, like, you get to be really, really freaking strong because you are learning how to slow down, and it's almost like the yin and the yang, like, you're able to figure out, like, how to be super, super strong and, like, go, 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 but then you know how to pull back, and that's
Mhm.
gonna be such a valuable tool for your athletes. Like, you get to go through this for them to then show them, like, you need to chill,
And
and, like,
also myself in the future too, you
that
know, like
too.
that it's we need these lessons too, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, because you can't keep existing how you are existing. Like, you're gonna get to a point. We're all getting older. Like, you're gonna get to a point 20 down years down the line that your body's gonna say enough is enough. And if you don't slow down now, how much worse is it gonna be in 20 years?
Right.
So,
Yeah. And so I know that my body's, you know, like I said, even over the last what 10 weeks, like I can literally feel my cortisol being lower and like I can feel my body healing. But then it's like, oh, I get into this whatever where it's still just too much. Like even the pulled back is still too much and now I need a training break and it's just like fuck, where does it end? Like
yeah,
like I used to
yeah,
be able to handle so much and I just feel so like powerless. It sucks. It's so
yeah.
frustrating.
It is frustrating. I'm, hang on, I'm dying. It is so hot in here. Give me a second.
And Toby says hi. He wanted to be part of the fun.
He can be our third wheel of the podcast.
He's so happy.
He just looks so content. He's smiling. If you guys aren't watching the YouTube video, go watch it. He's smiling. He's probably like, Mom, can we just go to bed? It's so late.
He's been so happy with how much rest I've been needing lately, though.
I'm sure he's just gonna snuggle up and sleep with you.
He's been reaping the benefits of that for sure. He's
But
loving it. But yeah, no, it's frustrating, but also finding the gratitude in it, right? It's
mhm.
like all those times for the last 2 years that I was like, I can't even like turn my brain off from work or like do anything other than work. And it's like, man, I would kill for a day that I would have now where I get to structure it the way that I want to, you know?
Yeah.
And like I'm definitely grateful for it in that way. And it's like, okay, you need to look at it that way and actually find the gratitude in these mundane times.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not powerless. It's just part of It's it's like the ebbs and the flows. Like this
Mhm.
is the season that you're in right now, and it is what it is. And is it the most exciting? No, but it's necessary.
Right. Yeah.
So
And this is why, like, I thought about this earlier too. I was like, oh, this is why a couple weeks ago, Mark was like, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help make you actually feel like a bodybuilder. And I was like, no, this is great. And now I'm like, sucks.
I don't. Just tell me I can let me train. No, no, I'm proud of you for pulling back. And I'm proud of you for like going through all of this and just being coachable. Maybe that's another topic that we can talk about. Being coachable.
Being coachable.
Yeah.
Also very important.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
also very important because I mean, I could have just, I mean, shit, like, let's look at this retrospectively. What if I didn't even go with Mark and I continued my prep?
Exactly. Where would you be after the prep? There's so much
Dead,
to
maybe.
this. It,
Maybe dead.
maybe for as much as you were running yourself into the ground. Um, there's so much, there's so much here. There's so much that you could look in the past for, and I don't even know. There's so many paths that we can go down, and we can always play the what if game. But ultimately I think you chose the right path. And is it the harder path? Yeah, but usually the harder path is the right path.
Yeah, and it's gonna have a big a bigger payoff, a greater payout at the end, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm grateful to kind of actually listen to my body and what just felt right at that time too.
Yeah. Yeah. Very proud of you.
Thanks.
You got
We went
anything?
through all of it too, so
Yeah. I feel like I'm still in it though. So
we both
going through
are.
it.
We're both going through it, but
Yeah.
still being able to not just sulk in it and find the lessons to shine light on the mundane and the highs, you know,
Yeah.
because it all, like I said, it's all purposeful. It all is by design and it's all necessary.
It really is. And going back to like when you have to sulk, I think giving yourself a time frame of like 24 to 48 hours, give
Hmm.
yourself that time, and then you have to put one foot in front of the other.
Yep. Feel it and then move on. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't stay stuck. And also, I will just because I did touch on deleting my Instagram app. Um, so I was finding that I was scrolling too much, but then I also realized that like since my world like just did a total spin, like I never felt like I could walk away because I was coaching and like you feel like you have to show up. So I'm just in this different stage of life right now where I have the opportunity to kind of take a step back from everything. And I'm like, I need to take a step back. So if you're going through a low and you feel like you have to show up, maybe you don't, and maybe you need to just take a step back and focus on what you need to focus on to move yourself physically forward. Because at the end of the day, Instagram is Instagram. And while it's great and it's part of the job, if you're a coach, like you got to take care of you and your people in real life
Hmm.
and
Yep.
then come back when you're ready.
Yep. Yeah. However you feel you need to handle things, do obviously what is best for you. Like
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end of
If
the
you're still
day,
on this, could.
yeah, at the end of the day, like you are the one that matters most to you. So handle your shit how you need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Give yourself permission for that. Unless it's destructive, then don't do that.
Yeah, don't be destructive.
Please don't. But you got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to bed. So
I'm
thanks.
gonna get some work done.
My gosh, freaking psychopath. Oh, now my internet's cracking up. But thanks guys for listening
Oh,
to
you
our
froze.
rambles. Oh, You froze. There you are. No, thanks guys for listening to our rambles. If you are finding these helpful, share them with a friend, share them on your Instagram and tag us. Maybe I'll see it. Um,
Maybe
and
she'll see it within the 24 hours.
yeah, within the 20, I'll probably see it in like 2 weeks and be like, thank you. But no, share it and just let us know. It just means everything to us. So
Yes, agreed. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next week.
bye.